The Wild West wasn't just wild, it was savage, lawless, and brutal. Forget the romantic image of cowboys riding into the sunset. The real West was a daily fight for survival. Unmarked graves and abandoned towns tell the true story. Survival was never guaranteed. The land demanded a price for every drop of water, every acre, every breath. Law was often just a rumor, blown away by the prairie wind. Cowboys were more likely to die from disease or a dirty wound than in a blaze of glory. The West was a place where second chances were rare, and the cost of failure was often death. We're peeling back the myths to reveal the raw, unvarnished truth. This isn't the West of the movies, this is the West as it truly was. Out on the frontier, law was often miles away, if it existed at all. Justice was personal, and survival meant being your own judge, jury, and executioner. With no sheriff in town, vigilante committees took over. Mob rule, pure and simple. Accusation alone could get you hanged before sunrise, no evidence required. Innocent or guilty, the rope didn't care. Wild Bill Hickok, legendary lawman and gunfighter, met his end not in a duel but shot in the back while playing poker. He broke his rule, never sit with your back to the door. Even legends die by cowardly hands. Hickok's final poker hand, black aces and eights, became the infamous dead man's hand. It's a symbol of the West. Luck runs out fast, and death is always in the cards. Even the best can fall in an instant. Jesse James, folk hero to some cold-blooded killer to others. The legend masked a violent reality. His gang left a trail of bodies, not just stolen loot. The West blurred the line between rebellion and savagery. Billy the Kid's legend claims 21 kills, one for each year of his life. The truth? Probably closer to 9. The myth outgrew the man, as the West loved its legends more than facts. Forget Hollywood duels. Real gunfights were chaotic, close range, and deadly for bystanders. Guns were inaccurate, nerves frayed, and bullets flew wild. Honor had nothing to do with it, survival was the only code. Shoot first, ask questions never. Stealing a horse was a death sentence. No trial, just a hanging. A horse meant life itself. Take it, and you forfeited your own. The law of the West was brutal, but everyone understood it. Many sheriffs were former outlaws. Towns needed tough men, no matter their past. Sometimes the badge redeemed them, sometimes it just gave them more power. The line between lawman and criminal was razor thin. Boot Hill cemeteries held those who died violently. Gunfighters, outlaws, and gamblers. Crude graves and grim epitaphs marked the cost of frontier life. Each grave was a story cut short by violence. Disease killed far more than bullets. Cholera, typhoid, and smallpox swept through towns unchecked. Dirty water and poor sanitation made every drink a gamble. The real enemy was invisible, and it struck without warning. Frontier doctors often spread more disease than they cured. No hygiene, no understanding of germs. Bloody tools were used on patient after patient. A minor injury could become a death sentence. Surgery meant whiskey for pain and a handsaw for amputation. No anesthesia, no sterilization, just brute force and hope. Surviving the operation was rare. Surviving infection was rarer. Baths were rare, water was precious, and heating it was hard work. Most people bathed monthly, if that. Grime and odor were just part of daily life. Bathwater was reused by the whole family from father to baby. By the end, it was a filthy soup, hence, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Cleanliness was a luxury few could afford. Rattlesnakes and rabid animals were constant threats. Bites were often fatal. Folk remedies did nothing. Death came slow and painful. Rabies brought madness and terror with no cure in sight. Nature's dangers were as deadly as any outlaw. With no wood on the plains, settlers burned dried buffalo dung, buffalo chips, for fuel. It was essential for cooking and warmth. Survival meant using whatever the land provided. Winter trapped families for weeks. Starvation and cold claimed many lives. Supplies ran out and desperation set in. The beautiful snow became a deadly prison. Toothache? The barber or blacksmith would yank it out with pliers. No anesthetic, just pain. Infection was common and often deadly. Dentistry was a last, brutal resort. Water was life and death. Contaminated wells and streams spread deadly diseases. People drank, got sick, and never knew the real cause. Calamity. Jane broke every rule. She rode, shot, and drank with the best of them. She proved women could be as tough and wild as any man. The West forged legends of both genders. Some women disguised themselves as men to fight, work, and live free. They risked everything for a taste of independence. The frontier was a place for reinvention, if you dared. Prostitution was widespread. Many women had no other way to survive. It was dangerous, brutal work, but sometimes paid better than respectable jobs. These women were vital, yet exploited and vulnerable. The gender gap led to mail-order brides. Women traveled thousands of miles to marry strangers. It was a leap of faith for both sides. The West was built on hope and risk. Divorce was surprisingly common in the West. Hardship and disappointment broke many couples. Laws were looser, and people moved on when dreams died. The frontier tested every relationship. Cowboys were underpaid laborers, not free-spirited heroes. They worked long hours for little pay, risking their lives daily. The myth of the cowboy masked a harsh reality. Cattle drives were grueling, months on the trail, constant danger from stampedes, rivers, and rustlers. Cowboys slept in shifts, always on alert. Many never made it to the end. Tens of millions of buffalo were slaughtered for hides and tongues, meat left to rot. The herds vanished, devastating plains tribes. It was a wildlife disaster of epic proportions. Building the railroad was deadly. Explosives, landslides, and brutal conditions killed thousands. Immigrant workers faced danger and discrimination. Many were buried in unmarked graves beside the tracks. Stagecoach robbery was so common it became routine. Drivers handed over the strongbox to avoid death. Passengers lost valuables, outlaws made quick scores. For many, it was just another day on the job. Westward expansion meant violent displacement for native tribes. Manifest destiny justified broken treaties and forced removals. Every settler's gain was a native family's loss. Disease was used as a weapon. Smallpox-infected blankets were given to tribes. The result was devastation on a massive scale. It was calculated biological warfare. The Sand Creek Massacre saw U.S. soldiers slaughter over 150 peaceful Cheyenne and Arapaho, mostly women and children. Bodies were mutilated, trophies taken. It shattered any illusion of peace on the plains. Treaties promised land as long as the grass grows, but were broken as soon as gold or railroads appeared. The cycle of signing and breaking bred deep mistrust. The government's word meant nothing. Native resistance was heroic but hopeless against the U.S. Army's overwhelming firepower. Villages were destroyed, buffalo slaughtered, and starvation used as a weapon. The outcome was never in doubt. Outlaws' bodies became public spectacles, displayed as warnings or even sold to carnivals. Elmer McCurdy's corpse toured for decades, his identity forgotten. The West's fascination with outlaws didn't end at death. One outlaw turned himself in for his own bounty, posing as both the hunter and the hunted. He claimed the reward, outsmarting the law one last time. The West rewarded cunning as much as courage. The Donner Party's cannibalism is infamous but not unique. Starvation and isolation drove others like Alfred Packer to the same desperate acts. The line between civilization and savagery was razor thin. Gambling was everywhere, and so was cheating. Caught card sharps faced instant, often deadly justice. Winning a hand could mean losing your life. Boomtowns sprang up overnight and vanished just as fast when fortunes faded. Empty buildings and silent streets are all that remain. The West was built on dreams and abandoned just as quickly. The Wild West was merciless. Disease, death, and dirt were everywhere. For every legend, there's a story of brutality and loss. The land was unforgiving, and so were the people. The real West was a place of endless struggle, not just glory. Legends simplify a harsh, complicated history. The truth is more powerful. Survival was the only real virtue. The West was forged in grit, grime, and blood. Its legacy is written in forgotten graves and ghost towns. Remember the reality, not just the romance. That's the savage truth of the American frontier.